big question. Britain is facing an obesity epidemic. Currently, 60% of us are either obese or overweight. This number is steadily rising. This presents huge financial, economic and health implications. Our team investigates a potential solution, a so-called fat tax. Let's get some facts, shall we? The Institute of Fiscal Studies state that we had 9,000 premature deaths as a result of obesity. This resulted in an incredible 40,000 working years lost to the disease. The National Audit Office also says that we are spending more and more each year as a proportion of our budget on obesity-related illness. People dying early from obesity does mean that there are less people living to pensionable age, so it's not all doom and gloom, but clearly it is a massive problem. What's the solution? I'm not entirely sure, to be honest, but I do know someone who is. Over to Josh Cullimore, who is live from Copenhagen.
Thanks, Mike. I'm in Denmark because it was the first country in the world to bring in taxes on unhealthy food, such as ice cream, chocolate and sweets. This is Helsa, thanks for joining us. Do you think these new taxes are actually needed?
Well, yes, there's far more obese children, and I think unhealthy food is just far too cheap.
But do you think these new taxes will actually work?
It's a bit early to say for the country as a whole, but it's definitely affected my choices.
Okay, some people criticise it though as being regressive and that it disproportionately affects the poor. Is that fair?
It's a good point, but I think a balance needs to be made to make healthy food cheaper.
That's some good food for thought there. Thanks very much. Back to Mike in the studio.
Nice report there, Josh. So it seems then that tax on certain foods may be able to influence people's behaviour with the intention of reducing obesity. Can Britain learn from America in this case? Have taxes on fast food help things over the pond? I think we need to hear from Ashley Rezai, who is live from Hawaii. Aloha, Ashley!
Aloha, Mike. I'm reporting live from Hawaii with the recently instituted soda tax from the governor. He states we can no longer ignore the fact that the consumption of these products contribute to rising health costs. But why soda tax? Well, what was once a childhood concern for tooth decay is now a $150 billion cost to the nation, making it fearful for our health and our future economy. A study by the U.S. Department of Agriculture's Economic Research Service found that overweight adults consumed 3 times the average amount of soft drinks. Just adding a penny per ounce excise tax could greatly reduce this consumption. Because of the spring economy the American Beverage Association generates, the government does not usually intervene unless there are evident market failures, such as financial externalities. Clearly, this tax should be considered. Back to you.
So, the fat tax is designed to influence people's eating and drinking habits. It does seem that US prices do influence habits, but is a tax on fat a step too far? Is the nanny state stepping over the line? Or will Joe Public bend over and get a spanking from Nanny? Francesco Giratelli takes to the streets to find out.
Thank you, Michael. So I'm Marcus Spencer right now, and we want to see if people will change the type of meat they buy if there is a fat tax on meat. The fatty milk would cost £1.20, and the skim one £1.
Yeah.
Which one you got?
Well, just buy the one that's cheapest, basically.
Okay.
One for £1, basically.
Buy the skim one. Actually, there's also a third one, right? Green one.
The blue one.
Blue one.
Okay.
I mean, we might just as well not have it.
Is that because of the flavour?
Yeah, exactly, yeah. I would go with the skimmed £1.
Okay. Which one you buy?
I'd buy the skimmed one anyway.
Okay. That's all for Milk on the Street. Michael, back to you. Cheers!
Cheers! Thank you, Francesco. Nice camera work, by the way. Well, it looks like the Red Tops have taken the lead. But why are the public so fickle when it comes to milk? Professor Sue Yo, Professor of Economics at Imperial College, explains more. Over to you, Sue.
Thank you, Michael. As our roving reporter Francesco has found out, many people are willing to switch to skim milk if the price was lowered compared to the price of whole milk. This is due to the price elasticity of demand, which is the change in quantity demanded divided by the change in price. Marshall argues that whole milk has a price elasticity of -1, which means that If the price of whole milk increased by 20%, it leads to a 20% decrease in quantity demanded.
Sorry. Who'd have thought milk is elastic? I hadn't realised that. Well, it's surely not as elastic as cheese strings. So, what does the food industry make of all of this fat tax nonsense? We asked Phil Smith. Over to you, Phil.
Well, firstly, let me say, Mike, that to suggest that any single business or group of businesses is responsible for this obesity problem is at best inaccurate and at worst irresponsible. Our businesses create jobs, pays taxes and contributes to the local communities through a strategy of corporate social responsibility. We don't think a tax is an effective way to achieve the goals of ending obesity. What you have to do is change people's behaviour. A tax will raise the price of the product, but how's it going to change the behaviour? We estimate, by estimating the price elasticity, that a 10% increase in the price of our products will lead to a 10% decrease in consumption. The people that would bear the burden of the tax would be the consumer. And the majority of our customers are not obese. This would purely be a money grab that would be paid for by hard-working families.
So, some interesting views from Phil there, so there's some clearly divided opinion across the board. But I'm just not getting this, I need someone really clever to help me out. Over to you, Sue, to explain externalities. What's going on?
Thanks, Michael. Well, some people feel that they should have the freedom to eat as much fattening food as they want, and it's their choice if they become obese. However, there is extra cost involved. Let's say Francesco consumes a hamburger for a price of £3. When Francesco becomes diabetic and develops heart diseases, the health service and ultimately society bear the extra cost. This is an example of negative externality. This extra cost to society means that resources are wasted, represented by deadweight social loss. A fat tax will internalize this social cost. It will increase the price of producing the hamburgers and decrease the quantity supplied, which is reflected by the shift of the supply curve to the left. This will increase the price of the hamburgers and decrease the quantity consumed. Deadweight social loss will also be reduced.
Clearly a very difficult subject. But who said economics was easy? One thing that does trouble me, though, is that it appears that the poor will be spending a high proportion of their income on this tax than the rich. Therefore, we must use the extra money generated to subsidise healthy foods to make this tax work. So, it's a very big problem, and we do need to address it if we don't want our kids to die before their parents. So, stay healthy, because the fat tax is coming to get you!